Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal. Malcolm.
I cannot believe the call. You've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that's been borderline unstoppable in this part of the field. I can't believe the call.
What if the Seattle Seahawks ran the ball at the 1-yard line? Looking back on Super Bowl 49, Pete Carroll made the biggest mistake of his life. Not only did he decide to throw the ball, he also decided to pretty much throw the game. Marshawn Lynch had almost 2,000 yards combined for 2 seasons. He just needed one more. So if Seattle decided to run the ball and scored the touchdown, what would have happened? So the obvious part's out of the way. Brady would still be in search of his 4th ring, and Seattle would have 2. There were absolutely no changes in free agency or the draft, and the Panthers still won the Super Bowl. But Marshawn Lynch doesn't retire since he's a Super Bowl champion and decides to keep going. In free agency, the Seahawks snag Kalichio Summerlee from the Raiders because he wants a pay cut to join a winning team. Brandon Mebane also stays loyal to the Seahawks, but pretty much everybody else does leave. Forgot to mention that the Seahawks never actually made the trade for Jimmy Graham either. The Seahawks, with their first-round pick, take tight end Hunter Henry from Arkansas, while the Chargers take linebacker Miles Jack from Jacksonville. Since there weren't that many prospects that they liked in the 3rd round, Seattle decided to trade up to get the Saints pick and select Michael Thomas. Seattle still gets Jarran Reed in the 2nd round as well. Seattle plays pretty well in the regular season, going 12-4. In the 2nd round of the playoffs, Seattle barely nudges out a Green Bay team and goes to the NFC Championship game. There, they are met with the Dallas Cowboys, going 13-3 with rookie quarterback Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, who barely nudged out in an overtime game against the Atlanta Falcons with a touchdown pass to Zeke. This game was one for the ages. It went back and forth until the final buzzer, but Seattle, with a 50-plus yard field goal, win the game. So once again, the Seahawks enter the Super Bowl, ready for their 3rd ring, but they were masked with a rematch against the New England Patriots. It's going to be a game for the ages, and both teams were very balanced. At least we thought so. But the Seahawks D and Russell Wilson were unstoppable that game. Up by 14 late in the 4th quarter, Russell Wilson threw a touchdown pass to Michael Thomas to seal the game as the Seahawks would win the Super Bowl by 21 points. Russell Wilson would now have the same amount of rings as Brady, but unfortunately, Marshawn Lynch does end up retiring. In the draft, the Seahawks did trade their 1st-round pick, but in the late 2nd round, they took an absolute steal in running back Alvin Kamara out of Tennessee. Before the season started, the Seahawks traded wide receiver Paul Richardson to the Texans for center Nick Martin and a draft pick. The Seahawks also still make the trade for Sheldon Richardson since their wide receiver depth is now good with Michael Thomas. The Seahawks dominate the regular season, going 15-1. Even with some injuries, the Seahawks had a lot of depth, and they played really well. The year was big for the Seahawks. Russell Wilson won MVP, and Alvin Kamara won Offensive Rookie of the Year, both leading in touchdowns and rushing yards in their categories. Plus, they also broke the record for most team offensive yards of the season. In the 2nd round, the Seahawks are met with the Carolina Panthers, who won the division because the Saints didn't have Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara. The game was surprisingly close, which wasn't what many people expected, since the Panthers were only 9-7 and the Seahawks went 15-1. But the Panthers played well, and it came down to 31-34 with the Seahawks in field goal range and Sebastian Janikowski ready to kick the game-tying field goal. But as he did it, he messed up, and he missed the kick. And the Seahawks lost in the 2nd round. So that's the end of the What If. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and bye.